All right. Sharks,
Evolved over the last
can you hear these songs?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
decade at all.
Uh, so my why is to inspire people to do the things that inspire them. So together, each of us can change our world for the better. And it's why I wake up every morning, every day. It is the greatest compliment someone can pay me when they say to me, that was inspiring or you were inspiring. Like that feeds me, you know? And the interesting thing about a why is because it is not, it is objective. A why is the sum total of how we were raised. It's born out of the patterns and the lessons we learn from our parents, from our teachers when we're young. And our why is fully formed by the time we're in our mid to late teens. And you only have one why for the rest of your life. It doesn't change. You are who you are based on how you were raised. Now, you may not be acting as your true self. You know, people say that to us all the time. You know, it's like, I don't know who you are anymore, you know? But when you are at your natural best, your why is front and center. But we're not always acting at our natural best. And sometimes we make decisions out of selfishness. We take the job that pays us, that offers us the most money, and turn down the one to work for somebody who would probably be a better mentor. You know, we do these things all the time. And so, you know, can you tweak the words of your why? Of course. You know, but that's semantics. Can we find better ways to bring a why to life? Yes, that's the evolution. But the why itself is fixed.
When you talk about the why being influenced by the things that happened in our life, our experiences, our upbringing, does that mean that our trauma can influence our why for better or for worse?
Always for better.
Always for better.
Yeah, a why is always positive.
Mm.
And I'll give you a real life example of somebody's why discovery that I did. And you know, one of the things I do when I do somebody's why discovery, I ask them about, you know, happy experiences when they were kids. And this person said, I didn't have a very happy childhood. I had a really bad childhood. And I said, okay, so tell me a bad memory then, you know? And she talked about a lot of abuse in the household and a very abusive alcoholic father who would beat her mother and the kids. And she told a story of a repeated pattern of when the father would be drunk and come looking for the kids, that she'd be hiding in the cupboard, protecting her brother with her arms wrapped around him so to shield her brother.
Wow.
And she goes through this whole story. And at the end, I pointed out to her that she's a protector, that in these traumatic experiences, it was her instinct to protect her baby brother. And she's lived her life. If you look at all of the times that she's really thrived and where she's her best self, she's usually in a position of protection of other people. And that's where she finds joy in taking care of other people. And so the experiences mold us into who we are, and the effects, you know, the impact will be positive regardless of where it comes from. So yeah, I mean, a horrible childhood that made her a wonderful human being.
I was going to use me as an example there to try and rebuttal that somewhat, but I remember having a very similar conversation with a very good friend of mine a week ago upstairs who talked to me about their childhood. They've talked about this publicly as well,
Wait,
so I'm not letting the cat
Babs,
out of the bag, but they're
I don't think we won't have this conversation before. But do you actually believe in like purpose? Like and with time, like do you actually believe in it? And then
You live in what?
like the word like purpose, like say everybody has like a unique the idea that everybody has like a unique purpose.
You know, you get why God
Like
creates. Everybody has a purpose in this life, you know. Yeah, I, 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 I believe
mm,
in, I believe in it. You know, God,
ah
God didn't just create you for nothing, but it's not left for you to, on how to know your purpose. Because even the Agberos
mm,
on the streets, God created even the OSF.
mm, 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 mm,
They get purpose now, but
mm,
some life circumstances
mm,
turn them away from their purpose. Survivor has made some people
mm.
more. I got to enter street
Yeah,
to
true.
do what I got to do, and some people, irrespective of situation, they say no.
Mm,
I think I'm brought into the world to do this. Some people, God created them to be like, it's not most. Some purpose, to my best of knowledge,
Yeah.
if you know be say to be a governor, be this thing, so your purpose will be say to bring peace into your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So purpose day, but sometimes life
Mm.
can fuck around and make you move away from your purpose and try to survive, and it was just crazy,
Mm.
bro. I believe in purpose.
Yeah. I believe in I I think also that some people's zone, like you said, can change based on survival, environment, and all those things. And then some people can maybe they can fulfill their own, and then like they will discover another one, that kind of thing. Also, so there's, there's that. What would you do? You know what your own is?
Hmm?
Do you know what your own is right now? Like, like have you feel like you've discovered yours?
I don't know. I don't need to get my visa correct first. We will define purpose later. First, secure your stay for your country. You will find purpose later. But I don't want to marry now. I have to extend my visa. We will define purpose later. So, back to what I said. That's how survivor mission switch from their purpose and more.
Hmm.
I'm brought
Mm.
into, maybe I came to the world to be a pastor, to be a this thing, make a first chop,
Mm.
make a first not job, we think of goes and yeah. So but back to
Ah.
have I do I know my purpose? So what
Mm.
is it? Do I know? I can't say yes, I can't say no.
Mhm. Mm.
How about you?
Um, yeah, I feel like to an extent, right? But
So what's the purpose of that extent?
mine would just be to like find ways to like connect people. Um, even though like it's taking like different forms, but like I'd say like it's just finding ways, like creative ways to like bring people together, that kind of thing, whether through um hobbies, sports, just finding just interesting ways to connect people together, basically, is what I would say. Yeah, is mine. Like underneath of everything that I do, like there's always that part of it there that it's like, okay, there's an opportunity to bring people together, so why not? That kind of thing.
I
So I'd say
like
that one for sure.
I like giving solutions. Is that on the purpose?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, for sure. No, why not? It's definitely a purpose. Like there's people that like they're building like services, products, and then they are selling them, or then maybe they're not even selling them. Maybe they're just like consultants or something for like businesses and individuals, right? There's people like that too. So for sure, it's definitely a need for sure in the world. Sure, it is for sure,
Father
for
used to beat their
sure.
mother up really, really severely. And she was telling me literally just a few days ago upstairs that her memories of trying to hold on to her dad's arm as it swung for her mother when she was 5 years old. And when you look at the pattern of what those early experiences have caused and a few other experiences, she's obsessed
Yeah, I forgot to.
with helping others, and she's building these amazing businesses. She's unbelievably successful. It's like frighteningly successful at a very, very young age.
Mm.
However, that force in her to help others has meant that she's compromised sometimes helping herself. And
Mm.
of everyone I know in my life, she is the most successful woman I know, but she's also the woman that is most unsuccessful in all of the personal aspects, relationships, boyfriend, mental health, all of these things.
Mm.
So when we say, I understand the positive side of it, but the negative side of it seems to be of this unbelievable, I guess, why she's got seems to just honestly for me not be worth it. Because this is not someone that would say they're happy. This is someone that is in therapy and is every day in tears and upset while serving the world in an unbelievable way. So is that a positive? Is that a positive why?
So the rub about the why, a why is basically the thing we give to the world. It's the value we have in other people's lives. Her friends would say of her that she is our protector. That is the role we fill in their lives, which is why they love us, because we're giving them our why. It is our value. The rub, the most difficult thing about the why to understand is the thing that we give to the world is also the thing that we need the most. It's always balanced. And so I would argue that, she it's not that she's unable to take care of herself. It's that she needs to find friends, colleagues, whatever it is, who are committed to taking care of her. And that's where the change happens. And, we were talking about this, before the show started, there's an entire section in the bookshop called self-help, and there's no section in the bookshop called help others. And I believe what we need is the help others industry. I'll tell you something something that happened to me. A friend of mine was going through a really rough patch in her life. Her marriage was struggling. Her career was struggling.
Well, I was going to say that to the point where the guy was talking about how that your purpose is something that you give to the world, like something that affects other people. So, like you said, to your point of creating like solutions, right? Like solutions itself can be helpful to somebody else. So that's your own like gift of giving back to people and how it's impacting other people, that kind of thing. So for sure, solutions is always needed in this world every day. But he's saying something very interesting. He's saying that some people, or I don't know if it's everybody, that provides that offers something, right? Like they have a purpose that they offer to the world, right? They offer to people, that they also always find the same challenge of that thing, like they're actually offering. Like DJ, like just like somebody that maybe the person likes to, let's just use cooking for example. Let's say the person likes to cook. Like that, like the person is gifted at it, the person just loves to do it. But the person can't do it for himself, but he rather does it for other people. Like he's always the one that will always say, "Oh, let's gather people together, party every weekend, and I'll cook." Like all the cooking is on me. Like everybody should just leave the kitchen. I'm doing everything, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. But the person, if they are at home alone, they can barely even eat maybe once in 2 days, and it's like it's not the same person that is offering to do this for other people. Why can't you do this for yourself? It's just the irony of this gifting sometimes. It's like, why is that you the same person that is cooking for like a lot of people, you can't do this for yourself. And I've seen people like that they actually would rather cook for other people, but they will not cook for their own self. Which is so funny. So that's to his point. So he's saying that some people they are, what they offer the world is actually what they need. So they need people that in their lives that will say, you know what, guy, you know what, I'll do what you to you, what you're doing to others, that kind of thing. Which is a very funny, very, very funny concept. But I know that you, Cax, like you now when it comes to cooking, like you make sure you take care of yourself regardless of I know that you make sure you take care of your own self first before you even cook for others. In as much as you like to be cook for more, you go first cook for yourself. Now, person we don't chop, we just cook for other people.
So like you check out. So most people they give marriage advice. When they give the best marriage advice, some of them that won't. Some like Steve Harvey, for example. Now they give good marriage advice, but you don't do marriage like 2 or 3 times. So,
but do you think that those kind of people, like, does that invalidate like their advice?
No.
Oh.
Once it's people like that, say, I'll take advice from them. If I go take money from person who is dating wife, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll take advice from me. When I was younger, I don't take advice from them. but,
Mm.
but as I grew up, like in my mid-20s and thereabout, all those so people say, okay, now none of us here don't marry, so they don't know what is a marry.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
sometimes all those ones will come out with the yes, some people come on marry, they say no marry you. This
Mm-hmm.
one, this one,
Mm.
they on. And some will tell you truth, say more. It's a good thing if you meet the right person. There's
Yeah,
a man
I
in my
agree.
church. Church was there, ushering the whole team together.
Mm-hmm.
One day, man, so as I do my usher work, Niger man, just a Niger man, but he don't take for UK. Yeah. So the
Mm.
man, when they follow him, they talk, say what's up, blah 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 blah. He say, I don't marry. I can't say no. I say good day nice. If I say good girl, I marry. Nigeria
Mm.
can tell me him and the wife say they don't separate. See him wife they don't divorce. The wife they London. Him they live here.
Mm.
That man was giving good marital advice. Say if you want to marry, you shall give me advice. Say as a man, you want to marry, you must
Mm-hmm.
there are three things that you must be good at. You say sexual. You say your sex game must be active. Your
Mm.
your your spiritual life must be active, and you must also be loving your wife, and your wife too must love you too. But must not be a one-sided relationship.
Mm.
So
Mm.
like that, say that man now the person don't divorce, but you see, tell young people some more. Just stick,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
just in that industry. If you go, if
Mm.
you go with the right person,
Yeah.
so that kind of man now in Nigeria now, you see, everything they talk, you know if you hold your marriage, you want to gonna give me advice.
Mm.
But
Yeah. Okay. I
uh,
see the points you're
yeah,
making.
I know the use
Yeah.
person, they judge the person most times. But if it comes to Bruno, I ask him.
Is
But if you say me, how do you
mhm,
use person misfortune to
mhm.
judge advice or talk way get offer to me or to give me? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you can
because
miss
I remember one time going up say all these my marriage counselor then they get broken on pass, but they'll give
mm,
they give you advice, good advice on marriage and stuff like that. So
mm.
that's life.
Yeah, yeah. It might be a missed opportunity if you just discard if you just discard them because of they had like
You just
a
feel
failed
get the one drop the one
situation.
with you and drop the one we really follow your vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Mm, exactly. Mm,
She was unhappy, like just none of the boxes were getting checked, you know?
mm,
And she knows what I do. I mean, we've been friends for forever. And she asked a favor, can you help me? You know, of course, I said. And every week we had a standing 90-minute meeting where she'd come over and she would tell me what's going on. And I would give her some advice and I'd point out some patterns. And she'd feel fantastic. She would leave on a high and she'd feel amazing for like 2 days. And then it would go right back again. And she'd come back the following week. And this went on for months, 2 days, 3 days, and then back down again, right? And then it occurred to me, I remembered my own work. In Leaders Eat Last, I talk about Alcoholics Anonymous, where they have 12 steps to help an alcoholic beat this disease. And Alcoholics Anonymous knows that if you master 11 of the 12 steps, you're going to probably slide back and succumb to the disease. But if you can master the 12th step as well, you will more likely beat the disease. The 12th step is to help another alcoholic. It's
mm.
service. And so I remembered my own work and I decided to change
That's
things up,
crazy.
right? And so I said to her, look, I love that you come and see me every week, and I love helping you every week. But I struggle with things too, and I don't have anybody to talk to. Would you be willing to help me? Maybe we can split the time." And she said, "Of course, yes." And what started to happen is every week we got together, and it was genuine. I wasn't faking it. Like, I would unload and tell her what I was going through and what I was struggling with. And it ended up that we wouldn't split the time. It ended up that we'd spend 90 minutes talking about my stuff, right? And she was the advice giver, and she was the one looking for the patterns. And she would leave on a high, and that high would stay until the following week. It was only when we reversed the scenario where that she had the opportunity to take care of someone she loved, that she was able to find the solutions to her own challenges. And I'm a great believer that we have to remember we're social animals. We need each other. And this is the great paradox of being human. At every moment of every day, we are both individuals and members of groups. And there's a debate. Do you take care of yourself first, or do you take care of others first? And there's a whole school of thought that says you have to take care of yourself first, because if you're not healthy, you can't take care of others. And there's a whole school of thought that says, no, you have to take care of others first, so that when you're in need, they'll be there for you. And the answer is you're both right and you're both wrong. It's a paradox. It's a struggle. And every day we're faced with sometimes big, but often small choices. Do I prioritize myself at the sacrifice of the group, or do I prioritize the group at the sacrifice of myself? And, folks like
Well, it's interesting. Like this actual anonymous or is it anonymous they call it? This 12-step process that they use for people that are addicted to alcohol, that are trying to break from it. And that last step is like I've heard about that step before, but it's just very interesting that you will never, like, you that you're not something, you're not over something, right? You're helping somebody try to get over it. Like that process alone say that they find that is healing, which is very mysterious. It's like you're literally like addicted to something, but you're trying to help the other person that is addicted to that same thing to get over it. Have you ever seen something like that before? Carl, it's not strange.
Should be course is never tell you say, guy, don't join court. Course is a bad thing.
As a court.
A court is never tell you say, guy, don't join that. This is not bad, I bet you not confirm court is.
Yeah.
So to say sometimes I feel some people that now I be confirm guy I did drink where and you don't start drinking. I say, "Man, guy, don't drink when nothing's there." All kind of thing. Some people might use that as a step to get it from me. That now, if someone tells you not to do something, I don't do it, or extend people, alcohol is not good, and it's not good, and people are this is advice. Sometimes it can help the person self to reduce his addiction, like because the level you do something to, and you talk to yourself that if I feel they tell people not to do this thing and they're not doing it, why can't I stop it too? It helps.
Like reverse psychology,
helping them to get away from their addiction to whatsoever bad vices they're into.
But that's crazy, because like it doesn't make sense on the surface. But I feel, like you said, when the person, like, if the person is saying that it's actually helpful to another person, they feel like they are helping somebody else with their advice and with their words. It will kind of push them to feel like, you know what, maybe I can try that kind of thing, right? Like, so it's actually very, very, very strange. But I'm trying to remember if there's any time that something like that has happened to me where maybe I was trying to, or I mean something, but I'm also advising against it. Probably when I was betting. It's probably when I was really, really into betting, when I was addicted to it.
when you
Maybe,
level
yeah, I remember some of my classmates that time. Yeah, I
up,
remember. Like, what do you say?
how about when you're leveling up?
Leveling up. Uh, those times too, I would say, I think I would say the same, but I think that one was more of something hidden, so people didn't really know, right? So, but betting, everybody knew that was around me.
I'm gonna go, I know,
Everybody in my school,
I,
everybody in my class knew.
sister, I go her house then in Nigeria. I go her house that is when she dey I stay in her house for like a week. And that many
Yeah,
betting tickets to which she see for
yeah, exactly.
ah
So
god,
imagine a young guy coming to meet you at
well,
that time. Imagine a young guy coming to meet you at that time that he wants to start betting, right? You'll be able to tell him all the
oh
things that
then
more.
even if it's now, I'll tell you no then I'll give better advice. So I'll push you to enter. You will learn, no worry. Yeah. Then when I was younger, I don't correct anybody. Oh. Enter. But he go tell you, no worry. But he go tell you. Sometimes personal experience is better than the
Well,
any
yeah, yeah,
good
for
experience.
sure.
You learn when you don't use your school fees like 2 sessions school fees. You say, I'm already this is not for the weak.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, sharp. But
Until
it's
you
just that when
you
you,
learn, you
hmm
will know life now too.
exactly. So I would say the only time I remember that time was when betting. Maybe one of my classmates wants to start doing it. I just advise them that more, bro, you don't want to, man. Because once you enter,
But you go tell
yeah,
you,
it will mess you up real bad.
but you go tell you, don't worry.
I'm telling you, it will. But this thing that this guy has said today is something that I know I will definitely need it. I used to for somebody that I find that is trying to overcome something. I'll just advise the person that if you find somebody that is also struggling with that same thing and try to help them out of it, you know,
Well,
try to figure out solutions for the person. Think of the person as a project and say, you know what, this person is a project. How do I, me that is even an addict or struggling to overcome that thing, how can I help this person in that situation to get out of it? Even though you will not take the same advice, right? The goal is just to make the person be able to feel like, you know what, I can come out of this particular thing. So I think that's definitely something that I would definitely use, moving forward for sure. Yeah, but it's one of those things where like this guy just said, now it's kind of like you know it, but you don't know it. But like when you know it, it's like you hopefully you now remember to use it when it happens. Like because it can happen now, like now in front of us, but we never remember that this technique deal that kind of thing to utilize that kind of thing. But I think it's something very powerful and something like you should actually experiment. You know, to be very very useful for sure. At least for me, I know that it's very useful moving forward. For sure. For
Maslow,
sure.
like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow made a huge mistake in that hierarchy, which is his baseline, our basic need is food and shelter,
Mm,
right? I've never heard of anyone dying by suicide because they were hungry. I've heard of people dying by suicide because they were lonely, right? And yet social relationships in Maslow's hierarchy is number 3. But that doesn't sound right. It seems like there's something more important to human beings than just food and shelter. And then the top of the peak is self-actualization, which sounds the most selfish thing in the world. Like, I am so self-actualized that I would literally sit on top of a pyramid and look down at all of you unactualized people, because that's my goal, to be self-actualized. He's half right. The mistake that Maslow made, he only thought of us as individuals. And as individuals, yes, I need food and shelter first. But as a member of a group, I need friends and I need love. And self-actualization is not the thing I'm actually in pursuit of as a member of a group. It's shared actualization that I'm looking
mm,
for. And unfortunately, for various reasons, which we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, the past 30, 40 years, especially in the West, we have doubled down on individualism. We have doubled down on my own career. We've doubled down at how do I find love? How do I find happiness? We've doubled down on selfishness. And it worked for a while. It worked when the economy was really good. Like in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, it's awesome. Selfishness was great because it worked. But now in a complicated, messy world where the economy isn't great and everything's not roses, all that self-interest is now not working, except we haven't been practicing and developing the skills of taking care of each other. And that's what we need now more than ever. And so I don't know your friend, and so I can't make any conclusions. But we are animals in balance, right? And nature abhors a vacuum. And so whenever I hear about these things, my question is always about the balance. So for example, every single good thing that happens in our lives, everything comes at a cost. There's nothing for free. Somebody with an incredible career has no relationship with their kids, right? Everything comes at a cost. But at the same time, everything we struggle with has opportunity and lesson that goes with it. It's always balanced, right? And so whenever anybody tells me this great thing, I'm always like, yeah, but at what cost? And was the cost worth it? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. And when something horrible happens in someone's life or something goes sideways, I always ask, but what did you learn? You know, I mean, my career, I mean, yours is the same. You know, the golden circle and the concept of why came out of me losing my passion and hating work. I went through depression. I never want to go through that again, but I'm really glad it happened because look at what it's given me an entirely new life view. And I think of strengths and weaknesses the same way. You know, I think it's hilarious when people say, what are your strengths and
Because
what are your weaknesses?
do you always look at like unfinished or even projects that don't go your way through that same lens of what did you learn? Like, do you ever
So
look at it that way? Like, do you ever
what
look at like unfinished projects, business, and maybe projects and businesses that not go your way? Like, do you ever look at them with that lens of what did I learn? That kind of thing.
yeah, sure no. You
Mm,
feel like something, you didn't you feel like something is painful, yeah, but just one or two things to one would have learned from the whole experience.
mm,
You learn how to probably there was a misappropriation of funds in the business.
mm,
People will teach you, okay, this is how to do it next time if you want to go into it.
mm,
Um, and if it's spending money the wrong way, and I see misappropriation of funds, for sure as someone with a working head,
mm,
as a functioning brain, you're meant to learn from your failures in anything you're doing, even in relationships. You're asking a girl out, and as it doesn't work out,
mm,
but what did I do that?
mm,
How did I push her? That wasn't
mm,
right. Did I do too much or did I do less? Yeah, so there always things to learn in a good and bad situation. So it's not in the good. It's not only when you win that okay. When you also lose too, you learn from your hell and try to be a better person going forward.
mm. Yeah, I was still even discussing this thing with one of my guys to he gave yes day for yesterday when he started this YouTube channel and the thing didn't go exactly because his plan was to make money from it and all those things. But now he's pivoting to a different industry. Like the one like a different industry that he didn't want to go to school for, right? In IT. And so he was now like saying how that even though this project didn't work out, there are certain skills that he picked up that he's realizing that he would actually even need for this field that is entering. So it's just like everything we like person do, whether it plans that whether it goes the way we plan or it doesn't go the way we plan, most times there's always like transferable like skills or you know just I just always feel like there's always transferable skills to that will help with the next project or like a future project or like a future endeavor or a future business, that kind of thing. So yeah, I agree that there's always things to learn for sure. There's always things to learn from both whether you win, whether you don't win. There's always definitely things to learn from for sure. Just that if we're willing to see, because some people might not actually want to even um they might not even actually want to even process the like bad situation because they just say, "Oh, this thing happened," or just put it at the back of it. You just want to move on, that kind of thing. But not realizing that there's some things that you can that actually went your way. Things that will actually that will help you for your next journey, that will save you. But they're not always grateful for that opportunity to have learned those lessons. Well, yeah, and I see
Yeah,
it, Bill.
what you talk?
Yeah, I said some of them they're not always like grateful to have learned the lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they just want to quickly discard and move on to the next thing, that kind of thing, without actually realizing that, oh, these are certain things that I was able to gather from this particular experience, that kind of thing.
word.
Well,
It depends. Life is balanced and it's always contextual. And everything
mm,
that we have that's a strength has liability attached, and every weakness we have has strength that's attached.
I can imagine because of the books you've written and the channels you have and the content you produce that a lot of people come to you on a personal level, friends, family, to help solve some of the problems that they're having in their lives. I find myself in somewhat of a similar position. Maybe they're not coming to me. Maybe I'm inserting myself into the problem to try and solve it because that's my nature. But do you ever give up on someone? Something I've thought about, and
mm,
I'm reflecting on my friend a little bit here.
Yeah.
And friends I've had from my childhood, who I remember offering a guy. I was like, if you can just do 1 month working in Subway where he was working, I'll pay for your rent so you can move out of that city.
Yeah.
And go get a job. He didn't do the 1 month in Subway.
Yeah.
And at one point there's part of me who's like, everyone's solvable. The optimistic in me, and the other part of me goes, at some point you have to give up on people.
So the single greatest lesson I ever learned in my career that profoundly changed the course of my life, and it comes right before the realization and the articulation of why. I learned how to ask for help, and I learned how to accept it when I was offered. Okay, and I think that it's not about giving up on someone. It's that helping someone is a team sport. Success is a team sport, and if you find that you're the only player in their life when they should be the primary player, you can only do the assists. You'll never be the one making the baskets. That's their job, right? But if they won't take the pass, then at some point you stop throwing the ball. And it's not about giving up on people. It's that they have. It's about accountability to take responsibility for oneself, and giving up on somebody is, don't ever call me again. You don't take my advice. This is over, right? That's giving up on someone. I think that the other way to do it is like, listen, I cannot help you if you cannot be involved to help yourself. And I will want to sit down with them, and I won't criticize and be like, you're not doing this. You have to follow my advice. You have to do this. You got to go work at Subway for the week. Like that's not what I want to sit down and understand what the blockage is. There's something else. That's the blockage that I can get to, hopefully. But at the end of the day, I will say to them point blank, listen, if you're not going to be involved in this, then there's no point to me being involved. You have to, this is a team and I'm the only player here. And so I will always be here. And when you are ready, maybe it's just bad timing. I don't know what else is going on in your life, and maybe this is not the right time, or maybe I'm a bad fit. But when you are ready, I will still be here no matter what. But you have to call me. There's no more me throwing you the ball. Like, you're going to have to call me.
And then they call you. And then
Sometimes
they
they do,
it's
sometimes
time.
they don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
In my case, they call me. And then they say it's time, I'm willing to accept the help. And then the same cycle happens over and over again. And you go 5 years of them calling you.
Then they're lying.
But they don't think they're lying. They always think this time's going to be different. I'm going to do it Monday.
I mean, like I said, I want to know what else is the blockage. When there's that kind of repeated pattern, then there's something else. And I think our mistake in those situations is repeating our pattern, which is, okay, I'm going to give you the same advice. I'm going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing. I'm going to tell you the same thing. I'm going to give up on you. I'm going to go, like, we're actually repeating a pattern as well. And so, we know this as entrepreneurs, which is you got to try something completely different. And I think, this goes back to what we were saying a moment ago, which is we are not teaching the skills of how to help others. And one of the biggest skills of learning to help others is learning how to listen. And most of us are really crap at listening, right? We confuse listening with hearing the words that were spoken. You're sitting watching TV and somebody you love is trying to tell you something and you're like, and you're still watching TV. And you're not even listening to me. And we turn around and repeat all the words back to them. That's not listening. That's hearing the words that were spoken to you. Listening is when the other person feels heard, right? And where you are in pursuit of meaning, not the words spoken. You're not so literal, right? And I think in the cases of like your friend, the is to go from an advice giving mode. And men suffer from this more than women, which is our intention is to fix everything, right? All we want to do is fix. We see the problem, here's the solution. But sometimes that's not what people need. People need to feel seen and heard and understood. And maybe, just maybe, you're going too quickly to fix and he doesn't feel seen or heard or understood yet. And in this particular situation, and again, I don't know the person, but I would go to an extreme listening. Give the kid the opportunity to empty his bucket. And there's only 3 terms you're going to use in the conversation. Go on, tell me more, what else? Because it sounds like it's whatever you think the thing is you're fixing, it's probably something entirely different. And until you can get to that, you're going to give up on somebody who maybe it's just that we had the wrong strategy.
It wasn't until these examples surfaced in my life where I had friends asking me for this kind of help that I started to consider that maybe mindset itself is a privilege.
Everybody has the patience. Not everybody has the patience to go through that, trying to figure out like what might be the person's block. Everybody just carry on with their lives. No, everybody has that patience. That's just them.
The meeting that guy talking about that guy. We talk about giving up or not giving up.
Yeah.
Mostly, now one thing for me to be teaching you something and you don't understand it, it's difficult for you to grab. And then that's teaching you something, I should not challenge them. 10 minutes to go. I better do. I want to come out. If you want to help someone, the person is not ready for help. You're just pouring water inside baskets. You will see your time.
Yeah.
Because get on time, something happen, they say, make a full person talk. I tell you, the person ready to listen. They say, no. I say, this is not ready. Me, I don't get time to the waste because the advice left my body. And I won't give my unborn children. I don't get. That's the fact now, because like now, you like to fight. I tell you to be how far, no fight. But that's to see your body. Now you go first come out and say, this thing, I don't do them again. That's number one step. That's number one step. Okay. You doing self realization, say, that's it, this time is yourself now. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
At that time people can advise it, but that person we want point inside fire, but see the come out and you put down. Make it. If you don't see the thing is really define, when you see him, you go run back home. So and the one that guy said that he told his friend to go and work in Subway. That his friend did not lasted a month there. So there was one person. He used to work for his friend. So that his friend wanted to. We like a surprise with a car. But based on the person's attitude, because the person sometimes can be nonchalant.
Mm.
So those group of friends, the plan was okay. If this guy can save a certain amount of money, them they go add the extra money, buy a car. So go
Mm-hmm.
do business.
Mm.
The person just do work for like 2 months to save money with them. Maybe na ego say how person go let me dey keep my money because im friends tell am say every month, every week they bring this amount give us,
Mm.
who hold am for you.
Mm.
After like a month or two, that one just say I need my money. Say I wan solve one family problem. And whereas you no get any family problem you wan solve, just want dey on the soft with the money.
Mm.
He squander the money. The supposed car wey im friends one add money dash give am, he didn't get it. They stopped him from working with them because they saw that this one is not ready to improve on himself.
Mm.
And because okay now see someone like you now, that year we
Yeah.
go pay how much you pay for that IT course that time? $2,000. How much? $2,000, one five
Yeah.
dollars.
Over 1,000. Over 1,000.
As I'm saying, they interested in learning. If they just pay just to feel among that yes, I'm learning this thing. No matter what
Mm-hmm.
the person teach you, it enter your head.
Yeah. Yeah. For
I
sure.
need to say, okay, yes, I
Mm.
want to do this thing. Yeah, yeah, okay. Then
Yeah.
until you may have difficulties in learning it, yes, but that willingness, because even also
Yeah.
when you do so, I've not had any background in IT or anything, but it don't always like 1 year when my friends don't teach me. The rest na self study with literal assistance, and so you are not ready to learn that to do that, not ready for change. Anybody give me
Mm.
advice, you are just wasting that time. So
Mm. So it goes back to the saying that when the student is ready, they say the teacher will appear.
after now when done, you don't be like your car spoil for road.
Mhm.
Down inside, because every push. Nobody get push now. But when you come outside, start the push. Half our boss, what do your car now? People go join and join.
Mm. Yeah.
If you pass Agbe, go collect 1 kilo around though. But they go still join every
Mm.
push every mechanic shop. So
Yeah, that's a good example. That's a good example. And on that fire example, I think that drives home the points that we've seen in this that we've seen in this video so far. But yeah, if no matter how you try to drag the horse to go and drink water,
you don't finish.
yeah, the the water. I mean, the horse will not drink.
How many you do? How many minutes you do?
The horse will not drink.
How many
We
minutes?
did.